cash flow statement into two. One as per AS3, the other one used internally. What is that? As per AS3 is a cash flow statement. The other one which can be used internally. So this internal cash flow statement that we use will be closer to fund flow statement. AS3 we will do it later. Will be dealt at the end. Now, internally developed cash flow statement for which we prepare three statements. Adjusted P&L account. Next one, cash flow from operations, cash flow statement. Come on, kindly just make note. What you have in your syllabus, they have not very clearly said it is AS3 alone. Oh, freeze பண்ணல உங்களுக்கு ஸ்டடி மெட்டீரியல் காமிக்கிறதுக்காக நீ பாரு. இன்டர்னல் பர்பஸ் கொடுத்துருக்கானு பார்க்குறேன். They have not done it. Okay. The not internal purposes கொடுத்துருந்தோம், but I will just do it that way. See, will be dealt at the end. End means maybe at the before I could proceed to the next topic. That time we will discuss AS3 format. So this is internally done to facilitate transition to fund flow statement. I am just doing this directly. You don't have problems, but this way it is easier to try AS3 as well as fund flow. So therefore, I am trying firstly internal way of presenting cash flow statement. Now, how an adjusted profit and loss account will look like? Just like any other P&L. It is only illustrative, not exhaustive. It is not exhaustive, it is only illustrative. By balance brought down. To balance carried down to depreciation to loss on sale of fixed assets by dividend income to interest on debentures to transfer to general reserve to premium on redemption of preference shares. Something like that we normally do, no? By funds from operation. This is a balancing figure. This is first of its format. As how to use this for fund flow, how to use this for AS3, that I will tell you. This is the first one. Next one, cash from operation, cash flow from operation. Funds from operation from adjusted P&L account. Add certain items, less certain items, like reconciliation statement. What are the items that we have to add? Decrease in debtors, which will result in inflow of money. Decrease in stock. Increase in creditors. Okay. Sum up, add. You get that. Less. Increase in debtors. Increase in stock. Then decrease in creditors. This is cash from operations. Correct? Next one is cash flow statement for internal purposes. This is summary of a cash book. Cash flow statement is nothing but summary of a cash book. Sources and application. Sources and application. What is the first item in your cash book you will have? Opening cash and cash equivalent. Cash from operations. Then next one, issue of capital. Sale of fixed asset. Next, purchase of fixed asset. Redemption of capital. Debenture interest paid. Okay. Then dividend income received, dividend paid. Lastly, closing cash and cash equivalents. Should agree. Should agree with this one. This is internally developed cash flow statement. Come on, kindly make note. This is only illustrative, not exhaustive. Are you noting? Shall I proceed to the next one? So all of you please just understand the link. Please understand the link. What is that? This X is what we are taken up here from adjusted P&L account. Don't forget that. Green and green. And whatever number that you get, cash from operation, that is the one we will take it up here. So you have to do it simultaneously, like trading P&L account and balance sheet. Simultaneously you got to do. So don't do firstly adjusted P&L account, then cash from operation, then cash flow statement. Do them or carry out all these three simultaneously, and you may have to prepare ledger accounts to support all this. Okay. Shall we proceed to next? Now, funds flow statement. I told you AS3 I will do it towards the end. Now after cash flow for internal purposes, I am proceeding to fund flow statement. This fund flow statement will have three divisions. Like how we had cash flow statement, three divisions, we will have for fund flow, three divisions. What are the three divisions? Adjusted P&L account, same as for cash flow. I don't have to just repeat that. Next, statement of changes in working capital. Last one, fund flow statement. So last two are a little difference that we will be bringing out. So now statement of changes in working capital. Then finally, fund flow statement format I will tell you. What is the format for statement of changes in working capital? You will have opening date figures and closing date figures. Opening date and closing date. Since it is working capital, A, we will put it out as current assets. What are the current assets? Stock, debtors and cash and bank balance. Cash and bank balance will also be coming here. B, current liability, creditors, bank overdraft if any, then C, working capital. What is working capital? A minus B is working capital. D, increase in working capital, where closing working capital is greater than opening working capital. So increase in working capital is application, that is outflow. How come? Increase in working capital, I have invested my money, our money had just gone up. Increase in stock, what is that we have seen? Outflow of money. Increase in debtors, outflow of money. Decrease in creditors, outflow of money. Then this might result even in decrease in working capital, where closing working capital will be less than opening working capital. This will result in inflow. Say this inflow can otherwise be referred to as source. Outflow may be referred to as application. Okay. So from now on, we will use interchangeable terms. Inflow, we will put it out as source, and outflow will be referred to as application. In fact, in cash flow statement also, I have titled the left hand side as source, and the right hand side we have called that as application, that is outflow. Okay. Then the last one, fund flow statement. Here also it is sources and application. Here what is that we will be doing? Funds from operation from adjusted P&L account. Decrease in working capital if any. Increase in working capital if any on application side. So whatever items that we have seen in the case of here, okay, okay, we'll go back, copy paste only. That's all. So cash flow statement and fund flow statement are look-alike only. Come on. This is including cash and cash equivalents. Here, excluding cash and cash equivalents at the beginning and at the end. You note பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? Is it okay? Note, open other ledger accounts to find missing figures bar information, like in the case of conversion method in single entry topic. Open ledger accounts to find missing figures or information, like in the case of conversion method in single entry topic. You have solved only one problem from now on. But under two different methods, two alternative methods. Full and full theory we have just made a discussion. Not even one problem we have done on a new topic. Now we will do. Problem number 8, which is there in page number 112. Have you taken problem number 8, page number 112? First, yaar padichadu? Ganga Kali Srani padichindla. Bala Murugan will read problem number 8, page number 112.
In the following balance sheet of Mrs. Rama Limited, Metro, schedule of changes in the working capital and the statement of sources and application of funds. Balance sheet of Mrs. Rama Limited, rupees in thousands, liabilities, equity share capital, 8% redeemable preference shares, capital reserve, general reserve, profit and loss account, proposed dividends, Sunday creditors, bills payable, liabilities for expenses, provision for taxation, assets, goodwill, land, plant, investment, Sunday debtors, stock in trade, bills receivable, cash in hand, cash at bank, preliminary expenses. The machine has been sold for 10,000. The return down value of the machine was rupees 12,000. Depreciation of 10,000 is charged of plan in 2011. The investments or trade investments 3,000 is received by way of dividend, including 1,000 from pre-acquisition debt has been credited to investments. An interim dividend of 20,000 has been paid in 2011.
Problem ends there. One more note also I wanted to provide. Unless otherwise stated, we have the habit of taking up provision for taxation and proposed dividend or assumed as not a part of current liability. In a problem, if they are saying that treat this as current liability, treat there. Provision for taxation and proposed dividend are assumed as not a part of current liability. Okay. So, in a problem when they say that treat them as current liability, follow. In a problem when the problem is silent, consider them as non-current liability. They are liabilities, non-current liability. It will not come under statement of changes in working capital. Now, what is the problem that we will be hitting? Look into the problem as what they have asked. Is it cash flow statement or fund flow statement? They have used the term funds. So, a problem which is asked for fund flow can be used even for cash flow also. Problem which is asked for cash flow, you can use it for fund flow also. So, problem will be one, but we will be solving in each case one fund flow, one cash flow internal, one cash flow AS3. So that it is one problem in three methods would mean one problem when I ask you to do, it is three problems I am asking you to do. Under examination condition, what they ask that you solve. But in a classroom, we can try one problem as three. Now, fund flow statement is what they are asking us to prepare. Question number 8, page number 112. So, I would like to prepare adjusted P&L account. Do not copy, just watch out, okay? Statement of changes in working capital. Then next, funds flow statement. You got to prepare all this simultaneously. And all of you should participate, and the participation in the discussion will have greater impact of understanding, and when you want to solve the problem, you will get a better ability to attack. If you feel like, okay, I will just only copy, would mean we will always be a copier at all points of time. Under examination condition, who is copying best is not the basis on which they award marks. Therefore, all of you should participate. So, please just don't worry about whether you are hitting it right or wrong. More you hit wrong is greater chances that you will rectify more. Please do participate. First, we will start the discussion this way. Equity share capital 300, 400. What is it your mind is telling? Issue of shares. Issue of shares, is it inflow or outflow? Will this appear in adjusted P&L account or statement of changes in working capital or fund flow statement? In fund flow statement. So, in the source side or on the application side? Source side. How much is the money that it will appear? So, I will leave one line space for funds from operation, like how we did in the case of remember this is picked up from adjusted P&L account. So, therefore, I will leave that space there. So, I will leave that space. So, therefore, first line I will not update. Issue of equity capital. How much? 100. Are you clear? Don't ask anybody as where I have to take, where it is to be placed. Everything is self-driven. 8% redeemable preference shares. Next item, 8% redeemable preference shares. Opening and closing. There is a fall in the value of preference share capital. So, what should we understand when there is a fall in equity capital? Already we have made a discussion. So, redemption of preference shares. Where it will appear? On the application side, 50. Two items dealt. Next, capital reserve from nil to 20. How capital reserve have come? Say, from profit and loss account, only general reserve will be taken up, not capital reserve. So, therefore, items not known, please just don't attend. Skip. Do you know how to skip? No? 5 days of class we have skipped. Half an hour class we have skipped. Correct? No? Sandhya, what do you say? ஊருக்கு போயிட்டு இருந்தேன் சார். அப்படிதான் சொல்லுவேன். போயிட்டு இருந்தீங்களே திருமங்கலம், இங்க இருக்கிற திருமங்கலம் போயிட்டு வந்தாங்க. Redemption of preference share capital 50. Capital reserve, I am not knowing. Everybody not knowing. So skip it. But don't permanently skip it and keep that in your mind. So, in your mind, you should keep that 20. General reserve from 40 to 50. What should you do? 10 rupees increase. Where is that it should be placed? In adjusted P&L account or in statement of changes in working capital or in fund flow statement. Adjusted P&L account. Format also we have noted to general reserve. How much is that? 10. Only one item you have skipped so far. Capital. Very nice. You are remembering it. Next, profit and loss account, opening balance and closing balance. Where should I take? Adjusted P&L account. By balance brought down. How much is that? 30. To balance carried down? 40. Instead of taking up increase, so opening and closing balance itself we have taken up. It is as good as taking up the increase. How many items that you have seen so far in the balance sheet? 5. How many items you have dealt? 4. How many items not dealt? Only one item. What is that item? Are you keeping it in your memory? Yes, don't worry. Next one. Proposed dividend. So, one of the very important assumptions that we have got to make, because I can put a note there, but people may just forget. Now I am telling you, that is the one that we will be trying out. When nothing is mentioned about the proposed dividend, they are talking about interim dividend, but they are not talking about proposed dividend. When nothing is talked about proposed dividend, we should always understand that last year's proposed dividend paid during the current period and the closing proposed dividend is provided during the current year. So, what is the assumption that we will be making, all of you? What is the assumption that we would be making? Last year's proposed dividend paid during current year and the closing proposed dividend is provided during the current year. Same thing for taxation. So what is that? Last year's proposed dividend paid during the current year. Closing proposed dividend is provided during the current year. Paid during the current year and provided during the current year. Paid during the current year, where it will appear? In 3 statements it should appear in one place. Adjusted P&L account, statement of changes in working capital, or fund flow statement. Where this item should be taken? Paid. அப்படினா அது source applicationல வருமா இல்ல provided னு சொல்ற மாதிரி adjusted P&L accountல வருமா? Paid அப்படினா என்ன? எடுத்து கொடுத்துட்டோம். அப்ப எதுல வரும்? Fund flowல வரும். So proposed dividend for 31/3/10, how much? 42. The closing, how much? To proposed dividend 50. Like how adjusted P&L account opening balance and closing balance we have taken up. Same is the way the opening one we have taken in fund flow statement on the application side, and the closing balance is taken in adjusted P&L account. So what is it we have noted down? Paid during the year. Paid means actually paid, outflow. But provided is not an outflow, which is taken in P&L account, debit side. Am I right? That is the one that we have got to understand. Word liye irukku. Paid na paid. Fund flow. Provided means not paid. That is taken from your P&L account. Wesley, what do you say? Are you in a position to understand? Paid means in fund flow. Provided means adjusted P&L account. Understood? Next. Sundry creditors. Statement of changes in working capital. Current liability. Under that, you will have, what is that you will have? Sundry creditors. 25, 47. Next, bills payable. 2016. Then, expenses outstanding. 30, 36. Provision for taxation is not a current liability. We have already noted. Then, for there any mention they have made regarding this provision for taxation, nothing they have mentioned. So, same treatment like proposed dividend. So, provision for taxation, same treatment. If problem is silent, correct? No. So, what is it we should do? Provision for taxation of the last year. Provision for taxation last year. How much? 40. Then, provision for taxation current year 50. How many items on the liability side you have dealt? All items except capital reserve. You may count how many number. All except capital reserve. So liability side over. Asset side we do have now. Goodwill 100 had become 80. What is the reason for decline in goodwill? What is the reason for decline in goodwill? Huh? Some sound. I have charged like depreciation, I have written off goodwill. To goodwill written off. How much? 20. Difference only we have to take. In some cases you take the entire thing, opening and closing in different places. That is as good as taking up difference only. Then land. Land, how it can depreciate, my dear? What is this? Now we are getting an idea. What is an idea that we are getting? Capital reserve. Capital reserve resulted during the current period to the extent of 20. Land cannot depreciate. It has come down. So now we correlate these two. What is this? We correlate these two. We have sold land for a profit of 20,000. So the accountant did not know where to take to the credit, and he had created a new item called as capital reserve. So therefore, what we have skipped there is executed now. So what is it we should do? Sale of land resulted in 50,000 rupees. How come I know that it is 50,000 rupees? Here there is a decline in land only to the extent of 30. Capital reserve created to the extent of 20. Sale value exceeding the original cost. That difference he had taken to capital reserve. Now I am dreaming what journal entry he had passed. Cash account debit 50,000. Credit land 30,000. Credit capital reserve 20,000. So I am assuming that this capital reserve has come only out of sale of the land. So sale of the land, the difference is only 30. Profit is credited to capital reserve. That is what we are understanding. 30 plus 20. Sale value is 50. So in my fund flow statement, I take up sale of land. How much? 50. Now I am accounting both for capital reserve as well as for the shortfall. How did I get this? 200 minus 170 plus the capital reserve of 20. Now I have addressed all the point. Are you understanding, all of you? Generally, they are supposed to have credited only to P&L account. No information we have to know as how they have created capital reserve, and no information we have as how the land value has come down. And I am correlating these two, and we are fixing it up like that. So very recently, I am just reading out one news item in today's Times of India, and there were two people who were just doing this fraud. That is the credit card cloning. Cloning of credit card. You know what is clone? So duplicate card which will look alike the original one, and these people who are using credit card in various locations, and they had some software or they hacked the PIN number of those people who are using. So what they have just done is that they have gone to various ATM centers. In PIN only you have to put to get the money. No. And what they just do is that they will do it in the night. Alert will be there into your mobile for any withdrawal, but by 11:45 in the night, alert who is going to look at, because people will be fast asleep. No. So they have just drawn from various ATMs and all that. So what to do? This was a very big question for the policemen. So what they have done is that in whichever place they have withdrawn, so they have checked up who is the person doing that, because there will be CC camera. No. So that person is wearing cap. So not a mask like girls on two-wheeler they are doing. No. So boys they are not doing at all. Girls only want to protect more. Full gloves, like terrorist. Have you seen a boy doing like that? No. Poor boys. So you just find, I am not just making any fun. I am just telling only fact. Correct or incorrect? You please. You just stone me if I am just telling any mistake or any wrongs I am telling. So what they have just done is that these people have checked up all the CCTV, and they have found the same person wearing only there is cap, that cap. So therefore, whosoever is going by cap, they were just searching. And that is going to be like a person being searched in Tirumala who had tan shoot. So then what they have done is that in that the person did not park the car a little away. The person parked not the car, two-wheeler in front of the ATM, and every time he was doing that, that particular registration number, they were not getting it proper. But that front portion of the two-wheeler was little damaged. Little damaged. And the person who had committed the mistake did not rectify the damage caused in the vehicle, and somewhere he was picked up. Hey, that TVS champ person with the damage in front, he was picked up for a general query, and he was taken into custody. because all this information had gone into the circle of police, and they have given good treatment to him. And he told, my master is this gentleman. I am working only as an employee for a salary, subjected to TDS. So, and all that he was just telling, and he spilled the bean, and the boss was also caught. Today's newspaper on Times of India, you just go and watch as how they were caught. See, it is interesting to know how a person is committing and avoiding, dodging, and how the challenges of the police will be becoming bigger and bigger. And ultimately, Palanal Thirudan, that particular saying only is working. Repeated offender will be caught one day. That is what Palanal Thirudan, Urunal Agapaduvan. Okay, what is the relevance of this particular problem? Where is that? We are trying to connect, no? See, the police was just trying to connect. So TVS champ, TVS champ, cap, cap. So in front, there is a damage in the mudguard section or some section. Adana full of kudukla. So dent, in fact they have used it. Same dent. Then he was picked up and he spilled the bean. So therefore, you should always be running in your mind the connect. That 20,000 and 30,000 here, you try to connect and bring out your story. That is the way you have to complete your story. Correct? No? Now, let us just take up the next one. Plant. What is it you should do for plant? There were some adjustment given in item number 1. So, for plant and machinery, I would like to develop a separate working notes. உங்களுக்கு தானே பரவாயில்லையா போட்டலாமா சொல்றது கூட முடியல we'll just keep it on later. To balance brought down, how much is that? 80. How much is the closing balance? 200. What is the information they have provided in the problem regarding this plant? Your machinery has been sold for 10,000. WDV is 12,000. Depreciation charge during the period is 10,000. There are 3 items of information they have provided. What is that? By cash. How much is that? 10. By P&L account. How much? 2. Loss on sale. By depreciation. How much? 10. So now I would just add this 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2. To cash 142. So 142 is your purchase of plant. Now how many items that you have to take up? 1, 2, 3, 4 items you have brought. These 4 items will affect your fund flow statement. Where and all it will get affected is sale of machinery, because it is involving cash. How much is that? 10. Here purchase of machinery 142. These 2 items will affect adjusted P&L account. 2. Loss on sale. How much? 2. 2 depreciation 10. Very nice. You people follow nicely. Then plant. Then investments. Say I would like to deal with investments a little later with more focus. Therefore, I would like to take up remaining items into statement of changes in working capital. Sundry debtors, stock, bills receivable, cash, bank. Simply copy paste, no? 140, 170, 77 and 109, 20 and 30, 15 and 10, 10 and 8. increase in working capital, how much? 41. So, increase in working capital 41. Okay. So, there is a cramping of space here. Okay. So, increase in working capital is an outflow that we have discussed. How much is that? 41. All items except 2 we have kept pending. 2 in the balance sheet, 2 in the adjustment. So, last item in the balance sheet I would like to take up. What is that? Preliminary expenses from 15 it has come down to 10. What is this? Written off, like depreciation, preliminary expenses written off. Very nice. So, all items in the balance sheet that we have taken up, except investments. So, I would like to keep investments a little later. I would like to take up the last item in the adjustment. An interim dividend of 20,000 has been paid. Interim dividend, is it an item which you consider as operation or investment or financing? Operation or investment or financing? Financing. To interim dividend paid. How much is that? 20 and interim dividend paid. How much is that? How much? 20. Then we were having preference dividend also. So therefore, we are expected to do a little more analysis to preference dividend, not proposed dividend, preference dividend. Because when interim dividend is paid to equity shareholders, definitely they would have paid for preference shareholders. How much is the payment? So whether we have to apply it on 150 or 100, which one is to be taken up? Why 150? They have not given when it is redeemed. For the sake of convenience, we will put a note. What note we will be providing? Redemption was carried out at the beginning of the period. Therefore, preference dividend is payable only on the closing balance of 100, because computation is very easy for me, because I don't require calculator. 8% on 100. How much? 8. Preference dividend paid. So don't forget to put a note. Note. அப்படினு ஒன்னு போட்டு வச்சால் நமக்கு ஞாபகம் இருக்கும். அப்புறமா பார்த்துக்கலாம். So all items except only one. What is the only one item that you have kept pending? Investments. Investments are trade investments. 3,000 is received by way of dividends, and including 1,000 from pre-acquisition dividend, which has been credited to investments account. So it is better we will open an account like plant and machinery investments account. We will open an account. 2 balance brought down. How much is that 2 balance brought down? 20. By balance carried down. 30. Correct. What is that they have said? Trade investments are, there is investments or trade investment, 3,000 were received by way of dividends, including 1,000 from pre-acquisition dividend, which has been credited to investments account. You people have studied investments account in your accounting class. Accounting or advanced accounting, I do not know. படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா investments account? Yes or no? Yes, I know that. Investments account is included in advanced accounting. Correct, no? Advanced accounting varudha? Group 1 la varudhu. I think Mani sir had handled that before. Huh? Panirkara? Sir, adu our panirkara illiyo, but I will do now. So, there is a discussion that we have got to make. What is the discussion we have got to make? உங்களுக்கு பசிக்கிறது எனக்கு தெரியும். அந்த அறிவு பசி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் தீனி கொடுத்துட்டு தான் சிறிது வயிற்றுக்கு ஈயப்படும். அப்படித்தானே தமிழ்ல சொல்லிருக்காங்க. என்ன சொல்லிருக்காங்க சொல்லுங்க? என்னது? செவிக்கு உணவில்லாத போது சற்றே வயிற்றுக்கு ஈயப்படும். சற்றேன்னு சொல்லிருக்காங்க. செவிக்கு உணவில்லாத போது சற்றே வயிற்றுக்கு ஈயப்படும். அதனால கொஞ்சம் வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க. இப்போ they have received pre-acquisition dividend. There is a concept called as pre-acquisition dividend. This pre-acquisition dividend should be credited only to investments. That is the reason, as they have said, that pre-acquisition dividend was credited to investments. I will give you an example. You buy or you bought a piece of land with growing crop because the vendor was in such an urgent scenario where he wants to dispose it off. At the point of time when he is not in a position to reap the harvest. His urgency is like that. We were just bargaining. Since he is requiring money urgently, we have just negotiated with him and bought. The vendor would have just jacked up the price of the land because he is deprived of that particular harvest, Therefore, he had jacked up. And we also wanted to have some agricultural income so that there is undisclosed income can be put under agricultural income and avoid tax, because we have studied tax also, So therefore, our mind worked that way and we have bought that agricultural land. We receive bribe here and there, But you can't put in your statement of income bribe. Because we are all we are just joining some political organization. Whether it is Rajinikanth, BJP or Vijaykanth or Vijay. Because all of them are unsuccessful that way. So, let us just put it that way, like I know that I will get a lot of bribe. People there wanting to donate to me. So, under what head I will disclose? Agriculture income, auditor conveyed. So, we are buying. So, when you bought, the person who was engaged for buying, he is saying, sir, you please come directly to sub-registrar office and put your signature and go. Because we are busy counting money. Our counting of cash machine itself is daily burning. It is turning faulty because so much of money I am getting. The money counting machine itself is coming out with fire. Because so much of usage, like Chennai silks, the machine itself is overused. So how Chennai silks? Because there is no windows that they have provided. So it is burning. So much of money I am just having. People say it is Midas touch. The land that I bought also is fetching me some income in the form of harvest. So to which account I should credit? Should I credit to P&L account or to credit to land account? If a question is asked, it should be credited to land account only, not to P&L account. Reason is that I have paid, when I bought the shares, I bought it with, when I bought the land, in this case share, when I bought the land, I paid not only for the land, but also for the growing crop. That growing crop in investments account is like this, that is, whatever investment that I am making, we are all inclusive of dividend. Dividend is likely to be declared in few days, like how we have just done in the case of taxation. What is a dividend stripping? Are you understanding dividend stripping example? What is a dividend stripping example? Not bond washing, my dear. So, Padma Vidhi had just sent me a voice message. Nalla, she explained nicely, but thing is that, ஒரு சின்ன தப்பா எடுத்தல. So, bond washing சொன்னது அப்படியே dividend stripping la போட்டாங்க. So, please understand the dividend which was about to be declared, that point of time you bought the shares and therefore you have paid a little more than the worth of the share. When subsequently when you are receiving the dividend, it cannot be credited to P&L account. That should be credited only to investments account. That is what they have done in this particular problem. Are you understanding, all of you? Buy cash, pre-acquisition dividend. How much? 1,000. But they have told that they have received 3,000 totally. By dividend income, Post acquisition, how much is that? 2,000. This is also they have received in the form of cash. So therefore, in cash flow statement, dividends received, how much? 3,000. How come? Pre-acquisition 1, post-acquisition 2. So totally it is 3. Are you understanding, all of you? Say yes or no? All of you? Then 31 here. Here, difference to cash. That means during the current period I bought purchase of investments. How much? 11. Now all the adjustments we have carried out. No adjustment we have left. Within few minutes we can finish it off. Now I will total up the debit side. We know how to calculate. We have calculator. We have figures from the debit side. Sum up and deduct from the credit side the opening balance and dividend income. The balancing figure will be funds from operation. What is the total of the debit side? 223. Here? 191. Where would I take this? 191. Funds from operation. Already we have taken up increase in working capital there. Now what is it we should do? Total up these two. 354. Note we have got to provide is what we have noted. What was the note that we have got to provide? For which item we have to provide note? Preference share capital got redeemed at the beginning. Hence, dividend is paid on 100. See, the same problem that we have solved before lunch, now we will continue for cash flow. Imagine that the problem is to be done under cash flow for internal purposes. Then how do we crack this problem? We have got to prepare same adjusted P&L account. We have got to prepare cash from operation and we have got to prepare cash flow statement. Not under AS3. Same problem we will read. Who had just read out this first one? Problem number 8. Wesley will read out the same problem. But this time the problem is to be read out not for application of funds, statement of sources and application of cash for internal purpose. That's the way you have got to conclude. Come on, please read.
From the following balance sheet of Messrs. Gamma Limited, make out schedule of changes in the working capital and statement of sources and applications of cash.
For internal purpose.
For internal purpose. Balance sheet of Messrs. Gamma Limited, 10,000. Equity share liabilities, equity share capital, 8% redeemable preference shares, capital reserve, general reserve, profit and loss account, proposed dividends, sundry creditors, bills payable, liabilities for expenses, provision for taxation. Assets, goodwill, land, plant, investment, sundry debtors, stock and trade, bills receivable, cash in hand, cash in bank, preliminary expenses. A machine has been sold for rupees 10,000. The written down value of the machine was rupees 12,000. Depreciation of rupees 10,000 is charged of plant in 2011. The investments are trade investments. Rupees 3,000 is received by way of dividends, including rupees 1,000 from pre-acquisition that has been credited to investments. An interim dividend of rupees 20,000 has been paid in 2011.
Right. You have read this problem already. Now, it is our responsibility to try this cash flow statement for internal purpose. What is an internal purpose? Not to be tried as per AS3. What are the accounts that we got to prepare? Number 1, adjusted P&L account. 2, Cash from operations. So under that, funds from operation, add less, then you will have number 3, cash flow statement. Imagine that we are preparing for the first time this problem, cash flow statement, for internal purposes. Though it might be looking a little comical because just now we have read the problem, but yet I will be making inquiry so that it gets firm in your mind as what you are going to do. Whatever we are doing is only the difference in the opening and the closing. We are just explaining it in the proper place and bringing out a statement that we call it out as cash flow statement or fund flow statement, as the case may be. First item, equity share capital. What is that we should do? Equity share capital, what is that we should do? From 300 to 400, what is that we should do? Issue of shares. So whether it is we put in adjusted P&L account or cash from operation or cash flow statement. So in cash flow statement, whether it is we applied on application or source side, issue of capital. How much? 100. What is the next item that we read? Redemption of preference share capital. What is that we should do? Application, redemption of preference share capital, 50. Then capital reserve, we will skip this item, or since we have had the experience of solving the problem under fund flow, from there we will pick up sale of land, that being 50. So in the case of land, we will skip this because we have already made a discussion. Then general reserve, what is that we should do for general reserve? So we will take up to adjusted P&L account. To general reserve. How much is that? 10. Profit and loss account opening balance 30, 48. Next, proposed dividend. What is the discussion that we have made for proposed dividend, all of you? Last year's proposed dividend will be taken up as paid. Current year will be taken in adjusted P&L account. Same is the case for provision for taxation. Provision for taxation current year 50, last year 40. Last year provision for taxation. Okay. Then after proposed dividend, sundry creditors, bills payable, liabilities for expenses will come in cash from operation, add and less we have got to take up. So what has happened for sundry creditors? Sundry creditors had gone up. So sundry creditors going up, whether it will result in inflow or outflow. Remember that discussion that we have made. So we have taken up somebody's money. Liability increased. So therefore somebody's money that we have taken means inflow or outflow? Inflow. Increase in creditors. How much? 22. Next. Bills payable decrease. Less. Liabilities for expenses 6. That's all liabilities are over. Asset side, goodwill got reduced. Where do we take up this goodwill reduction? Goodwill written off. How much? 20. Land we have already taken up. Plant account we will open. To balance brought down. 80 by carried down. 200 by cash. 10 by P&L. 2 by depreciation. 10,000 to cash. 142. Sale of machinery 10. to loss on sale of machinery to depreciation. Very good. Next, purchase of machinery 142. Investments to balance brought down 20 by balance carried down 30 by pre-acquisition dividend 1 to cash 11. The other two they have received by post-acquisition dividend 2. Now, in your cash flow, dividend received, pre-acquisition 1, post-acquisition 2, outer column 3. Purchase of investments 11. Investments over. Now, preliminary expenditure we will take up 5. To preliminary expenses written off how much? 5. Then to interim dividend 20. Interim dividend paid 20. Preference dividend paid 8. To preference dividend 8. Okay. Adjustment number 1, 2, 3, all adjustments over. Okay. Now we have kept 4 items pending. In fact, 3 items only pending. So what are the 3 items that we have kept pending? Sundry debtors increase. Increase in debtors will result in outflow of money. How much is that? 30. Stock in trade. Increase in stock outflow, how much is it? 32. Increase in bills receivable 10. Now funds from operation we have got to update, correct? And so same time cash and bank balance we have got to take up. Opening cash and cash equivalent. What is the opening cash and cash equivalents? 25. Closing cash and cash equivalent 18. We have taken up all items. Now what is the balancing figure of funds from operation? 191. 143. So I would like to provide, actually that should be the second item occupying that. Let me just find out as how we can make it up. Correct. Cash from operation 143. Huh? 3. That's all. What is this? Cash flow statement for internal purposes. Now all of you closely follow. I will not allow you to copy. What I will do is that I would like to take up this under AS3. Okay. Because that is what it is mainly indicated. So what we do is that in AS3 there are 2 formats that you have. One is direct method. The other one is indirect method. There are two formats that they practice, direct method and indirect method. This can be used only when full information is given. Full info including P&L account, trading P&L account given. Only when full information including trading and P&L account are provided. So in this problem, profit and loss account full details not there. So when trading and P&L are not provided. Correct? So in this case, what is the method that we will be using? Indirect method. What is it we will be doing in AS3? We will not do this T form of account. That is totally not used in this AS3. We will put everything in a statement-like form. Without T, what effect it will bring, that is what we are going to bring in the case of AS3. Okay. So how is it we will be doing? But we will not do adjusted P&L account, cash from operation and cash flow statement. We will do this into 6 parts. What are the 6 parts that we will be dividing? One is cash flow from operating activity. This is common for both. First one is operating activity, investing activity, financing activity, then increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent, not current asset, cash and cash equivalent. Next one is opening cash and cash equivalent. Lastly, closing cash and cash equivalent. So the total statement will be divided into 6 parts. How many parts? 6 parts. How is that we will do? Look into that. No T form, only statement like form. Cash flow from operating activities. So lot of items will be there. So therefore, I give good space there. Cash flow from investing activity. This page will be sufficient. Cash flow from financing activity. Then increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent. One line only. Then opening cash and cash equivalents. Closing cash and cash equivalents. 6 items. I will update from the reverse. Closing cash and cash equivalents 18. Opening cash and cash equivalents 25. You are also tuned. Very nice. Good. Then increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalents. Decrease. Within brackets. Decrease in cash and cash equivalents 7. Out of 6, 3 knocked off. Don't you feel that it is a great thing that we have done immediately? So Mani sir will handle cash and cash. There is cash flow statement in accounting, but he will do it in the forward. But that is correct for accounting. But this is correct for CFM. What is that we should do? Reverse working. Even if it is half complete, when you look into the statement, the person who is correct, he will feel, oh, he has completed. So therefore, there is a great chance of getting full marks even when it is left incomplete. Half when incomplete. 60-70%, because we manage times sometimes without any planning. We just lose time. And that point of time also you can take up a cash flow statement and get full marks. Now what is it we will do? We will read the problem as it was done in the first case. Equity share capital 100. What is it you should do? Operating, investing or financing? Financing. In financing activity, what is it you should do? This is only a title, no. Issue of capital. Issue of equity share capital. How much is that? 100 without brackets. It is an inflow. Please be careful. In this format, there is no side that you have where you can total all the debit side item, all the credit side items. So therefore, these items are to be indicated by signs. Within brackets, outflow. Next, redemption of preference share capital, how much? 50 within brackets. That's very important. Outflow, are you understanding? So inflow, outflow in same place. Capital reserve. So your mind is working now like police. You should run through the mind of a criminal. Only then you can catch a criminal. You should not be an innocent police. You should be outsmarting the criminal. So you should think better than him. So there was some cash which was stolen by showing gun in one of the outskirts of the branch, Bank of Baroda or so. And all these people, like cinematic scenario, they were all tied and put in one room, and they have taken away the booty. How the police have cracked the case, no? So, how they have just done, they ran through the mind of the criminal. How they have spotted that particular branch. So, these people have visited many branches in the nearby location. Wherever CCTV was there, they didn't attempt. Therefore, they have just got into the other branches where CCTV were there, and they were just looking into whether they had any common persons coming into that particular location. So they have spotted a few people who were just checking up that particular day, previous day and all that. So they have spotted the persons. On looking at their face and the way in which they were moving, as you can understand, when in a known place when you are walking, you will walk unknowingly little fast. In an unknown place, even when you are very conscious, you will be walking slow. In a known place, you will be walking unconsciously fast. Same thing, two-wheeler, you are checking address, no? Four-wheeler, address checking. How is that? Good space will be there. He will be blocking the traffic. This person will be honking. What is this person doing? He will be, when space is there, when a car is moving slow, either he will be meddling with a phone, or he is searching for the place. Or maybe some friend is there. Interesting friend there for a conversation. I am talking only good. If you are thinking bad, that is reflection of your mind only. Because I am a good person. You know that? No, I am just speaking loud. Next, redemption of preference share capital. Capital reserve. You connect the event. Now tell me where it is to be taken. Investing activity. Sale of land. Within brackets or without brackets? Excellent. Without brackets. Why? Inflow of cash. Next, general reserve. Where this general reserve should be taken up? Sir, in adjusted profit and loss account on the debit side we have taken up. Now here is a new format I am going to introduce. What is that? Here we will take up, even before we could add, increase in P&L account. How much is that? Instead of writing 30 there and 48 here, what we will do is, we will take up 18. And whatever items that we have debited in profit and loss account are to be added. Didn't you do that in your adjusted profit and loss account? These items were added. Instead of noting down 30 and 48, I could have as well noted 18. What is that you have done? You have added everything. Therefore, understand that in this format, whatever items that you have dreamt of updating it on the debit side are to be added to the increase in P&L account. Whatever items that you have noted on the credit side of profit and loss account, or the sums are to be deducted so as to find out cash from operation, I mean funds from operation. Though we don't call them as funds from operation, but this is the technique that we are going to use. That being the reason as why firstly I taught you adjusted P&L account, that will register firmly in your mind. What is it you should do? Increase in general reserve. How much is increase in general reserve? 10. So items that are appearing in the profit and loss account debit side are items that are to be added. Items that are to be shown on the credit side of adjusted P&L account are to be deducted. Are you understanding? Next item, profit and proposed dividend. What is it we have done for proposed dividend? We have just taken a proposed dividend of the current year onto the debit side of P&L account. Therefore, we are adding 50. What is it we have done for the opening balance? 42. Opening balance of 42, we have shown it on the application side. Here, payment of proposed dividend of the last year. Proposed dividend of last year. How much is that? 42. Within brackets you got to show. Why within brackets? This item was appearing on the application side of cash book. Are you understanding, all of you? Application side will result in outflow. Therefore, it should be shown within brackets. Next. Provision for taxation similarly. Provision for taxation last year, how much is that? 40 within brackets. And here, what is it we should do? Provision for taxation current year 50. Are you understanding, all of you? How many items on the liability side we have left? 3 items we have left. What is it we have done in the case of these items in the case of cash flow statement? We have added and reduced in second statement. That is what we will be doing. So what we will do, we will just have a space here. Here we will be noting down increase in creditors. Increase in creditors. How much is the increase in creditors? 22 without brackets because it will result in inflow. Next. Decrease in bills payable. How much? 4 within brackets. Then increase in outstanding expenses. 6 without brackets. Increase will result in inflow. So therefore we have just done a problem like that. So liability side over. Liability side over. Now asset side. Goodwill written off. Goodwill written off. We have debited in P&L account. Therefore we should add. How much is that? 20. Preliminary expenses written off. 5. Land we have already taken up. Regarding plant. What is it we have done for plant? Plant. Here in investing activity. Sale of plant. Sale of plant. How much is that? 10 without brackets because it results in inflow. Next. Purchase of plant. Which will result in outflow. How much? 142 within brackets. Kindly recall. Then you had a loss on sale of plant. Loss on sale of plant on the debit side. So add. Depreciation also on the debit side of your P&L account, add. So plant account over. Then investments. What is it we have done for investments? Remember, as far as investments item is concerned, purchase of investment. Purchase of investments, how much? 11. Correct? 11. Then what is it we have done for investing activity? Dividend received. Pre and post. How much? 1 and 2. 3 without brackets because it will result in right. Then whatever we have just done for post acquisition, remember dividend received. In which side we have taken up? Credit side we have taken up how much? 2 within brackets. Are you understanding? In adjusted P&L account, In which side we have shown? Credit side. How much you have shown? 2. Are you understanding, all of you? Do you remember that? Then, stock, debtors, bills receivable, cash in hand and cash at bank. Cash in hand and cash at bank we have taken up. Now 3 items we have got to take up. Sundry debtors. What is that we should do for sundry debtors? Increase in debtors. Increase in debtors will result in inflow of cash or outflow of cash. Outflow of cash. How much is that? 30 within brackets. Next, increase in stock. How much? 32 within brackets. Am I right? Bills receivable. Increase in bills receivable. How much? 10. Also within brackets. Also within brackets. All items we have taken up. ஏன்னா எங்கிட்ட தான் கேட்கணும், அவன்கிட்ட ரகசியமா பேசக்கூடாது, எங்கிட்ட தான் பேசணும். Have you taken all items from the balance sheet? You have to say yes or no. Yes. Then what is that we should do? Firstly, we should finish off investing activity. So take your calculator and pick up all items. $18.10, $50.50, $25, $2.10, minus 2, minus 10, minus 30, minus 32, plus 22, minus 4, plus 6. 100 and 115. நம்ம எதாவது பார்த்தோமா இது 115? எல்லாம் எடுத்துட்டோம்ல. இதுல ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் டிவிடெண்ட், இன்டரிம் டிவிடெண்ட் விட்டுட்டோம். இந்த இடத்துல ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் டிவிடெண்ட் அண்ட் இன்டரிம் டிவிடெண்ட் we have forgotten. இன்டரிம் டிவிடெண்ட் எடுக்கல. நானா எல்லாமே எடுத்துட்டேன்னு சொன்னேன், தப்பா. Interim dividend, how much? 20. This is on the debit. So therefore without brackets. Now, interim dividend paid. How much is that? 20 within brackets. Preference dividend paid. 8 within brackets. There. Preference dividend provided. How much is it? Now you can take up. 115 அப்புறம் 143. அந்த 143 எங்க பார்த்தோம்? In cash flow statement for internal purposes we have worked out. அது ரெண்டுத்தையும் integrate பண்றதா இந்த AS3. Are you understanding? Next. What is the total of investing activity? That's all. Over. The end. Come on, kindly make note. Right. So now, what is it we are expected to do? Firstly, we will prepare fund flow statement, then cash flow for internal purpose, cash flow as per AS3 indirect method. This is what we will be doing. Now, share capital, 6,75,000 to 7,87,500. What is it we should do? Issue of capital on the source side we have got to update. General reserve 2,25,000 to 2,81,250. Increase in general reserve in adjusted P&L account. If you do it as per AS3 directly, this item should be added to net increase in profit, like how we have done in the last case. Then capital reserve on sale of investment. Now let us just look at investments. So 202,500, 202,500. We might get the impression that there was no sale at all, whereas we do have. In this problem, they have said during the year 11-12 investment costing 90,000 were sold. Also investment of 90,000 were purchased. Because of the reason that they have purchased and sold for matching values, you are getting the impression there was no change in investment. Actually, it is not so. So, the sale value of 90,000, that is, there is cost of investment which was 90,000, resulting in a profit of 11,250 would mean sale had taken place not at cost, sale had taken place at that is price greater than cost. So therefore, sale value is 1,01,250. How come 1,01,250? 90,000 plus this. So sale of investment will find place on the investment activity or in fund flow statement on the source side only. Then purchase of investment costing rupees 50,000 will appear on the application side in full. So sale value will be 101,250, whereas purchase of investment will take place at 90,000. Profit and loss account. This is opening balance in adjusted P&L account on the credit side. 2,25,000 on the debit side of your P&L account. Or in your AS3 format, what you have to do is that you have to deduct from 2,25,000, 1,12,500. That is the increase in P&L account is what you will be noting down, that being 1,12,500. 15% debentures from 11,250 to 13,500. For 1,250 rupees they have issued debenture. So therefore, if there were to be, you have that debenture, then extremely sorry. I just took a wrong figure. Extremely sorry. 3,37,500 to 2,25,000. The difference 1,12,500 is the face value of the debenture they have redeemed, but at a premium of 10%. So 1,12,500 into 1.1. So 123,750. In your application side, you got to show 123,750 as an outflow, but the extra sum that you are paying, somewhere you got to adjust. So in P&L account they would have adjusted. So how in P&L account we are adding so many items? In adjusted P&L account, you take up the extra sum. What is the extra sum? 11,250. Are you understanding, all of you? In adjusted P&L account 11,250, and your application side you got to take up at 123,750, because you are paying the face value plus premium. So premium is the expenditure that you got to debit to your profit and loss account. Are you understanding, all of you? Next one, 15% debentures over. And one more important thing that you should remember is that the interest that you are paying, how much is the interest that you are paying? 15% into 2,25,000. So 33,750, you got to show it in the debit side of P&L account. The same is to be shown as application. And in AS3, this item should be coming under financing activity as outflow of cash. Are you understanding, all of you? As how preference dividend in the last problem we did. In this problem, we are doing it for debenture interest. Accrued expenses, creditors, these two items are to appear under statement of changes in working capital, and proposed dividend for which they have provided the information. And even if adjustment 6 were not to be there, we would have continued to do the same thing. What is that? Last year's provision we will assume as paid. Current year provision we will take it to current year's profit and loss account. Provision for taxation, for which they have given some information regarding how much is the tax that they paid for the last period. You have to prepare what account? Provision for taxation account. In provision for taxation account, opening balance you have to take it up at 78,750, which is a opening balance, credit balance, and tax that you have paid 61,875, 875, and your closing balance of provision for taxation is 85, 500. 147, 375. 68. This is the provision that you have made in P&L account. This is the sum that will be finding place in fund flow statement. Are you understanding? 61,875 in fund flow because you paid. This much was the shortfall that you have provided for. Paid and provided. You know where they have to be taken up. We have done this in the last problem. Are you understanding? Paid will come in fund flow. Provided will come in adjusted P&L account. For fixed assets, they have given adjustment number 1. They have sold for an item. That is net book value of 11,250. They have sold for 9,000. That means they have sold it for loss. How we have just done the last problem? 12,000 rupees book value was sold for 10,000, which resulted in 2,000 rupees loss. In this case, the book value is 11,250, sold for 9,000. Loss will be taken in adjusted P&L account. Sale value will find place in fund flow statement. And depreciation during the current period, they have mentioned, not current period, they have not mentioned at all. See, here they have just mentioned, if you prepare fixed asset account, you will automatically get, say like how we have just done in the last problem, fixed asset account, that way you just prepare, you will just get the information. As far as long-term investment is concerned, we have already made discussion on this. There is nothing new that I can just need to make. Stock, you have to take it up at the same value. Debtors, some information they have given regarding bad debts written off. That will not affect at all because that is going to affect only your provision account. Your debtors account is after deducting towards provision. So this adjustment is given only for confusion and to create anxiety level. Please ignore that adjustment. Bills receivable and a statement of changes in working capital. Prepaid expenses and a statement of changes in working capital. Miscellaneous expenditure reduction is like the one that we have already done in the last problem. In the last problem, do you remember that preliminary expenditure from 15,000 to 10,000? In this problem, it is 16,875 to 11,250. Same treatment to be given. Adjustment number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. All that we have discussed. Now, you are expected to prepare fund flow statement firstly and cash flow statement for internal purposes. Cash flow under AS3. Okay. Now it is 1521 only. I want all this by 1545. All the best. Please do it. All the best. God bless you. Question number 9, page number 113. Firstly, fund flow. Number 1, adjusted P&L account. 2, statement of changes in working capital 2011 and 2012. Then item number 3, fund flow statement. Share capital increase, issue of equity share capital 1,12,500. General reserve $56,250. Then sale of investments 101,250. Remember that we have just worked out 1,01,250. We have discussed, P&L account, opening balance 1,12,500, closing balance 2,25,000. redemption of debentures, face value, how much is the face value? 1,12,500, premium 11,250, 1,23,750 to premium on redemption 11,250, correct? Then accrued expenses, outstanding 11,250 and 13,500. Then creditors 1,80,000 and 2,81,250. Then proposed dividend to current year proposed dividend 38,250, proposed dividend 33,750. For provision for taxation, we have already made a discussion there. 61,875 tax paid. So just have a look what we have done. By balance brought down, to balance carried down. This is what they said as to cash paid, to cash, and this is by P&L account. 61,875 and 68,625. Provision for taxation. So for fixed asset, it is better that we open ledger accounts. For fixed assets, we will open ledger accounts. To opening balance WDV 9 lakhs. By closing 10,68,750. By bank 9,000. By P&L account loss, how much is that? 2250. So sale of fixed asset 9,000 to loss, how much? 2250. Then see, they have just given something about accumulated depreciation. So I would like to take up this at cost. So what I would do is that, otherwise for me I can do, for explanation purposes I find the cost information will be of great help. 11,25,000, 13,50,000 by fixed asset disposal account. There is a new account that I am just opening, fixed asset disposal account. So book value is 11,250, accumulated depreciation against that being 33,750. Then what would be the original cost? Original cost would be 45,000. How this 45,000 we are arriving at? Closing book value 11,250, accumulated depreciation so far they have charged would mean 33,750. If you add these together, it comes to 45,000. Okay. So now by going through this problem, we understand 13,95,000 is the credit side total. 13,95,000 is the total on the other side that we are taking up to cash. How much is that? 2,70,000 is the purchases that you are making. purchase of fixed asset 2,70,000. Correct? Then let me prepare accumulated depreciation account. By balance brought down 2,25,000 to fixed asset disposal account. The accumulated depreciation related to the item sold 33,750. Then to balance carried down, the closing balance 281,250. So the total comes to 3,15,000. So by balance, that is by depreciation during the current period, how much is that? 90,000. So in your P&L account, 90,000 we will take up to depreciation. Are you understanding, all of you? Then fixed asset disposal account, where we will take up the cost fixed asset account 45,000 by accumulated depreciation 33,750 by cash 9,000 by P&L. How much is that? 2250. This is the way you take up all the three accounts and complete it. Then investments account, to balance brought down 202,500 by cash 101,250 to profit 11,250. This is what we call it out as a capital reserve, not profit exactly. Profit is the correct term, but they have taken this to capital reserve. Then to purchases 90,000. So we have to take up both sale as well as purchases. Purchase of investment, how much is that? 90,000. Are you understanding, all of you? So purchases as well as sale that took place exactly at the same value. That is what you find the closing balance being 202,500. Are you understanding, all of you? Investments over, the corresponding profit we have taken to capital reserve, purchases taken, sale value also taken. Then stock 2,25,000, 303,750. Debtors 253,125, 275,625. Bills receivable 45,000, 73,125. Prepaid 11,250 and 13,500. So fixed asset over, investments account over, debenture over, tax over, provision we have ignored, proposed dividend we have considered. Now, how much is funds from operation? Debenture interest எடுத்துக்கலையாமா? To debenture interest. How much is that debenture interest? 15% on 2,25,000. How much? 33,750. Adu ban gaya. $2,25,000 to miscellaneous expenses written off. Euro? 5625. So here, debenture interest. How much is the debenture interest? 33,750. I think we have considered all. So what's your total here? 5,31,000. Exact 5,31,000. Okay. By funds from operation. Now let us effect the total of current assets. 5 lakh. Total 6 lakhs. 66. Here 1 lakh 91,250. 294. 750, 343, 125, 371, 250. D, increase 28, 125. So increase in working capital 28, 125. Funds from operation 4,18,500. $641,250. 641,250. So why it is not agreeing? So now fund flow statement over. So it is taking 10 minutes time only. By 4:10 only we took. Now it is 4:22. 12 minutes it took. So if I am explaining, there is no necessity for it to explain. So you can cut down that time. Now, for internal purposes and all that, just for the sake of introduction I have just given, but there will be no question. So on internal purposes. So therefore straight away you can do launch what? AS3 cash flow statement. AS3 cash flow statement. In this, last two items, opening cash and cash equivalent, closing cash and cash equivalents will not be having at all, because nothing is given. So there is no increase, there is no decrease. Cash flow from operating activities. Cash flow from investing activities. So this I will write it here. Then cash flow from financing activities. In one page itself I try to make it up. Okay, how do we do that? Share capital. Issue of equity share capital. How much is that? 1,12,500 without brackets because it is an inflow. General reserve. Increase in P&L account that we will update. So general reserve appropriation 56 250. Capital reserve sale of investments. How much is that? 101 250 without brackets because it is an inflow. Then redemption of debenture including premium 123,750. Premium on redemption how much? 11,250. என்னங்க? Because it is shown within brackets, because it is outflow. I just waited for you as whether you are reacting properly or not. This is not an inflow but an outflow, so show within brackets, shown within brackets. Next, accrued expenses. So increase in expenses outstanding. How much? 1,250. Increase in liability is an inflow, so shown without brackets. Correct, no? Then increase in creditors. 2250. Then increase in creditors. 101, 250, because it is a source, therefore shown without brackets. Proposed dividend. Dividend of last year paid. How much? 33,750. Without brackets or with brackets? With brackets, because it involves outflow of cash. So current year provision. This is addition to increase in profit. Therefore, it is shown as an addition. Increase in P&L account we have not taken. How much is that? 1,12,500. This is the difference between 2,25,000 and 1,12,500. Understood? So, liability is over. Debenture interest we have to take up. No. So, debenture interest 33,750. Whereas payment of that debenture interest paid, whether it is to be shown within brackets or without brackets? Very good. 33,750. Liability side over. Now, purchase of fixed assets, sale of fixed assets, then depreciation. All these together in one shot we can finish it off. So purchase of fixed asset. How much was the purchase of fixed asset? 2,70,000. விட்டுட்டோமா? சரி பண்ணிடலாம். Purchase of fixed asset within brackets. Sale of fixed assets without brackets 9,000. Depreciation. How much was the depreciation? 90,000. Then loss on sale of fixed asset. How much was that? 2,250. For provision for taxation, she was reminding that we have forgotten. So we have got to take up. No. So tax payment. How much? What we have paid? 61,875. Within brackets, no. But it is to be shown 61,875. Majority of their income they are making only in operating. They have not given the breakup. Therefore, we are taking it up under. Therefore, we are taking it under operating. Madam, சாப்பிட்டீங்களா? இதெல்லாம் கடிக்கூடாது. நகம் கடிக்கூடாது. பேட். நெக்ஸ்ட். அப்புறம் என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? கை கொடுப்போம் எல்லாருக்கும். அதெல்லாம் நடக்கும்ல. நெக்ஸ்ட். அதுக்கெல்லாம் பெஸ்ட் வந்து நமஸ்தே, நமஸ்கார், வணக்கம். நோ ஹேண்ட் ஷேக். இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது பண்ணி விட்டுருவோம். நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன் 61,875 tax paid. Fixed asset over. Long term investment. Purchase of investment. How much? 90,000 within brackets. Sale of investment. 101, 250 without brackets because it is an inflow. போட்டோமா? ஓ, ரெண்டு தடவை போட்டோமா? பர்ச்சேஸ் ஆஃப் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இப்பதான் போடுறோம். Sale of investment not pottum. Sorry. Investment. Stock. Increase in stock. How much? 78,750 outflow. Next. Increase in debtors. 22,500 within brackets. Increase in bills receivable. 28,125 within brackets. Next. Increase in prepaid expenses. 2,250 within brackets. Then miscellaneous expenditure written off. How much? 5625. We would like to take up a small subtotal there. The off பண்ண சொல்லிட்டு கர்ச்சீஃபை வச்சு இப்படி பண்ணீங்கன்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? சொல்லலையா? தும்மிட்டே இருக்கீங்க. பரவாயில்ல, ஆன் பண்ணலாம். Provision for taxation add பண்ணலையா? So we are expected to do that also. Okay. Provision for taxation பண்ணிட்டோம்னு நினைக்கிறேனே. Provision for taxation, how much is that? 68,625. 68,625. Tax paid, how much? 61,875. Bring out the subtotal here before adjusting towards working capital and put it. இதை ஒன்று அரை பண்ணுவோம், இதை ஒன்று அரை பண்ணுவோம், இதை ஒன்று அரை பண்ணுவோம். So how much is that? இதெல்லாம் ஈஸியா போட்டுடலாம். 101, 250, 2,70,000, 9,000 without brackets, 90,000 within brackets. Tax paid brackets over. Correct. Hmm. $33,750 into 2 plus 123,750 minus 112,500. So 78,750 within brackets. Correct? So how much is that? 3,60,000 minus 9,000 minus 101,250. So 249,750 within brackets plus 78,750. How much is that? This total, subtotal solungo. Subtotal 625. That's putting another. Huh? 328,500. If you add, that is, if you add these two negative and adjust with 3,28,500, there will be no increase, no decrease in a cash and cash equivalents. Okay. So increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalents. Nil. Opening cash and cash equivalents. Nil. Closing cash and cash equivalents. Also nil. If that cash flow statement is over. So maybe by two different methods. One cash flow statement, there is fund flow statement, the other one cash flow statement over. Are you understanding?